Now, when you have anger, and now actually there are two types of happiness. One is when you experience something through the senses, and the other thing is when you give up the senses. Okay, when you control your senses. We have fasting and prayer and all these things. Okay, and there are two types of happiness. The other one, normally, what happens, according to Buddha, the craving, our suffering is proportionate with craving. More the craving, the suffering will increase. All right, so what happens when we indulge in pleasures and senses? We increase our craving. So we have immediately some happiness, okay, all right, some excitement, some happiness. But when it finishes, it makes us less craving or more craving. It leaves us more craving. So what happens? It leaves when you see normally who are in this way, they're having a kind of sadness for no reason. Without a reason, they're just unsatisfied, sad, or empty, a heavy feeling. You could notice that. But then there's the other way. When you control and discipline, it may be difficult. You remove your addictions and all that, one by one, and you control your mind. When that happens, you begin to have a happiness for no reason. You have a joy, you have some kind of, feeling lightness, a confidence. So this is another direction. So now, one way I must explain the benefits of this. For example, when we get angry and all that, we have a hormone that is created in our body called adrenaline. Adrenaline normally makes you angry again. Like that, there's an interconnected. That hormone makes you have those thoughts. Those thoughts makes you have those hormones again. So I remember one of my teachers, not teachers means an inspiring person. I don't know whether you've heard about him, Somahandro. Have you heard? Maybe the elder people, they know. He was like a very fiery, dynamic monk. He died very early. So once we had a discussion with him, and he was telling me, if you meditate, if you become peaceful, and if you make your mind free from these negative emotions, then something else also should form. Something else does form. He named that thing called minus adrenaline. Okay, so but I remembered one name in the Ayurvedic term called ojas. Ojas. So I told him, it's very funny. In the next discourse he was telling, I was there nearby. He put this word when he came to explain this. So his mind is also very very fluid. He would gather things up and then create the discourse to suit the situation. So anyway, I remember he used the word ojas. Ojas, this is like a very subtle material which travels upwards to the brain, and there are areas of the brain that is not functioning, they start to open and they get deposited. And that makes you have these thoughts again. These good thoughts, what you had to create those ojas. So there's an interconnection. So ojas is more created, more of these thoughts happen. And then the thoughts make this ojas create more. So when this ojas gets created more, you can see in a person's body. It's very clear. You get a shine in his skin. With his black skin or white, doesn't matter, or yellow, the skin, there's a charm. There's a charmness going through him. A magnetic, this thing goes through, it has in his aura. So this is something, and the skin looks fine, not rough. Doesn't look rough, it looks fine. So this is something to encourage anyone. So when you practice like that, so I'd say normally, even the models, they know about this and they're doing yoga. So to become more, charming, not only from the cosmetics or from the using things from the vanity box, right? It's a nice word, vanity box. After a long time, I'm using this. In English, you have some words, vanity box. It says it all. So anyway, so normally when you get that particular this thing, it will also create a shine. Cheeks and forehead. So I tell normally, don't lose that shine. This goes with your virtue, it goes with your discipline. At a physical level, you could notice that. The shine will be there. So normally, so I tell you don't have to use, then what is it? Fair and Lovely or Nivea. Okay, you don't have to use any of that. And you will become, you become very attractive, magnetic. So the other way is same in the other direction. If you do something, now it is said even that there's a smell goes out of your body. I have not found exactly, but Buddha says when you're virtuous, when you're disciplined, when your mind is pure, that smell from which comes from your body goes toward the Brahmaloka, the higher worlds. This is how the Buddha explains. Now the other way, I know one girl, very young girl, like 13. She was like she's the granddaughter of one of my devotees. So they are very poor in Sri Lanka, but though they can't afford or anything, they put this child to the British school there in Sri Lanka. And then I was also, I was very happy. Good, this girl will be educated well and all that. And I was very happy. But then they were taken to she went to one of these sleepovers. I don't know, they must be having here sleepover. So in one of these, when she went like that, she met some bad company and she, went astray. So there was this problem. She was not telling anybody what was going on. So she came and told, the grandmother wanted the daughter to meet me. So when she was coming, the grandmother asked her, "Daughter, have you taken a bath?" I was wondering why she asked this. Have you taken a bath? So then she said, "Yes, Acha." And then she came and sat down. And then she told me everything, like what happened to her. And later she told me she was addicted to the phone. And, and with the phone, she was like, she was looking at things which are not very good, the toilet and everywhere. And she was addicted for months. And later in the recent time, she was getting a smell around her, a poo smell. And that's the reason that the grandma also asked whether, she has taken a bath. And she was telling Swamin sir, so this I understood what it could be. I have told in the previous programs how you attract negative energies, negative beings. And especially, and then these beings come and they are with this kind of body, smell with this body. So, and also your virtue, when you make your mind impure and corrupt, then another smell goes out of you, which is not good one. Like good smell goes out when you are doing good things, and a bad smell goes out when you are lying and doing all these things, that also creates this way. So, also now I got to know in Canada also, there's a big crime that took place. And the boy was, addicted to video games. This is a big thing, I think Mark Zuckerberg, right? Mark Zuckerberg is facing a lot of, his parents are all, now who have committed suicide, the children. So it's all coming out. This is not, so one has to be very conscious. I'm telling all these things to create the foundation, especially you have to look after the children. And also your own self. If you have so many things, like especially with the phone, if like even listening to something else I remember now, like the pineal gland. In the pineal gland, they say that there's this particular hormone called serotonin. Am I right? Serotonin. So normally your focus power and all this concentration and focus depends on this particular hormone. So the reduction of that, depletion of that, it creates depression and all that. So it's well found that the smartphone, the blue light of the smartphone, it damages this. So what happens then? Your concentration, your focus power decrease means what? You become impulsive. More you're impulsive, you're going to be more agitated and restless and no peace. And definitely you'll be going to things that are very negative. When you don't have the span to concentrate and focus. So if you want to develop especially your mind, you have to be conscious of these things that you use. I will talk about that. And there's another one called Grim Hustler. I'm giving you immediately, in YouTube you can check. He looks like Russia mafia, but he gives very good points. I think it really hits you. He's like a life coach. Like the phone we use as we get up, before you sleep, like that, and many other topics he gives, bad habits, how to develop focus, how to remove, all our bad habits to progress in life. I think you must go through that. But he used a foul word very often. Don't care about that. Don't care about, because many good points he tell. It goes really into your mind. Grim Hustler. Remember that. And the other one is dopamine detox. Go through that if you're still watching YouTube and all that. This will help you also to know more about what happens to you through the phone. We can't completely leave the phone. We at least must use it for, but we have to use it for GPS and all these things. But must be careful that what is going to affect us in decreasing our concentration power, our faculty. We must learn to leave it, like entertainment and all that. Even mainly the short videos, shorts, right? Short TikTok, right? Something called TikTok. Okay, the shorts. Anyway, the short videos, it's very clear that I got to know that more dopamine is this thing in that, so we are attracted to that. So one lady told me, Swamin once, I can't meditate. I do a lot of giving donation and all these things, but I can't meditate. I am only listening to the teachings in the short videos. So later I told her, short videos, it will make you very short. Your concentration power will decrease more and more, and you will have to make more shorter. They are told, there's nice term for that. It's called doom scrolling or something. Have you heard this? So you have to be aware of that. They said, like you're doing like this to the Eiffel Tower, something. So for so many hours, you can make up to the Eiffel Tower. So this you have to be cautious, because always you're having these things. So these things I was explaining, some points I think you should be knowing, because I'm going to come just the foundation for me to explain something important regarding rebirth, death, and old age, and the next life, and how to stop this, how the Buddha has told. These things I have been giving now in every program, things that are the most essential teachings in the Buddha's teaching, which I have some personal experience also, will help you to one day fully understand this, just to create that. But to do all this, you have to change your lifestyle. You have to make a sharp mind, a pure mind to realize this. These are, if you just read or get this knowledge as a knowledge, this is very common today. Getting knowledge and becoming realized is two things. Anyone can gather knowledge. They might tell, I know all these things. But have you realized this? It's a different thing. So my concern is how to make you realize. So for that you have to make sure your lifestyle, you become clean, pure, and calm, and you learn to do your work without feeling tired. That is how, if you drive without feeling tired, if you walk without feeling tired, you have meditated. So I have taught these things. In the mornings you must do some rituals, and one thing you must try to be careful when you're going out, not to take unnecessary impressions, not to see what is unnecessary. Like when you're driving the car, you can see the vehicles, but you don't have to see who is inside the vehicle. Like that, when you train, you are going inward. You're just looking what you need to perform your activity. This is a special practice that reduces your monkey mind. But I know some of them told me, you feel tired when you're doing that. Why? Because you have not got the initial push. So you should get it in the morning. When you start the day, you must get that and see where you got distracted last time during the day, and make sure that time you are controlling yourself, or where you got really angry or where you got really distracted in a attached way. So this you have to check and clear it. Make sure next time you're not doing that. And then you feel happy about yourself. And that happiness is like a great food to your brain, food to your willpower. So that way you improve day by day by monitoring yourself. So, someone say I have to go on telling, otherwise if I stop, Mali. So, let's see. I think I want to cover these things. So anyway, this I want to explain. This you must make sure. The daily practice, that one. Then the other one is mindfulness in the present moment. Make sure like you must feel the seat, the steering wheel. Just paying simple attention. When you do like that, a special type of awareness begins to grow. When you do it again, it doesn't come naturally. And then you find that your tiredness will go away. There are some people I told last time, while they're driving, how to do that. And now they have really upgraded. They have started reading the sutras, and they have also experienced, they told me, how they were feeling light, like something was breaking away. I'm very happy because they got to know I am now stressing about reading the discourses. And they have already started that. And I'm hearing this from them, that if you personally experience that, because it makes you let go and that lightness will come. And that is a tremendous positive energy. And when you experience it, no one has to tell you to do it. Because you know whatever you have experienced before, you can't compare with that feeling of lightness and feeling cool. So I'm very happy with them. So this general practice you have to go on, making sure you control your senses. You don't look at the things, unnecessary things. And then the other one is paying attention to the present moment while you're driving and all that. These are the second practice. Or while you're walking, just looking at what is immediately present. Just paying attention. Your mind will run again, but reminding again. Simple things. Just you learn to keep your mind simple like that. You will not get tired. You will have some plan, I have to do this, do that. But don't keep on thinking of the plan continuously. So you have that ability as a human being to have that. We have learned to do like multitasking in this external world. You must learn to do the multitasking in the meditation also. That if you train your brain, your mind, you can do that. So that is one practice, and you will experience these blessings of not feeling tired, and day by day your soul is getting clear and your inner heart is becoming peaceful. So this practice you must do, and I hope you can add to reading these teachings. And the other one I want to tell is, it has to be applied. Buddha has a special wisdom. That wisdom is connected with reducing your suffering. So he relates suffering to craving. So whatever wisdom he brings out is reduce your craving. So I have one experience I had with an auntie who used to get angry. Were you anyone there today in the Manchester today? No? They have not been here. They were there. Okay, so you had to hear it, right? Now they're lifting their hand like this. I can see the boredom in them. Okay. Right. Because they are hearing the same thing, right? So I have a general this thing now, not same one time, they must be hearing it now several times. This is for the practice. I have no other new things to tell you, just taking you in a direction, controlling your senses, removing your addictions. Then only you will make the mind that you realize this. These truths look simple in the explanation, but you should realize it. It's profound. The realization is profound. Okay? So, this sutta, these discourses are there where it brings you a way of looking at the world which you will reduce your craving. Okay? So there's one sutta, when I started reading, that is when my teacher directed me to read them, these discourses, when I was 18 years old. This is called the Mahahastipaduppana Sutta, the great elephant footprint discourse. Why does this sutta called the great elephant footprint? The elephant footprint, you can put all other footprints in that footprint. So this idea, the Buddha's concept or idea or discourse, you can put, what he means is that you can put all other ideas into this. This is regarding the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths, the first Noble Truth is about the suffering, the truth of suffering. So why is he telling us the truth of suffering? It's like birth is suffering, old age is suffering, sickness is suffering. Everything that happens, like even a good thing that happens because it's bound to finish, is suffering. That's why now suffering as it is, as a feeling, is suffering. But a pleasurable feeling, why Buddha says a pleasurable feeling is suffering? Because it's bound to finish, bound to end. It is a conditioned phenomenon. This is a very deep, very clear thing. So you find we are like just going behind an illusion, a phantom, thinking this, but it's always finishing, it's always ending. And then we are left back to square one. So that's why when you go in that direction, so all these things happen in short, Buddha says, to Panchupadana Skandha, the five aggregates, what we are made up of, what we say, which is our soul, which is our person, that is the body. We all have a body. When rebirth is taking place, we are born, it's a body that is formed first. Okay? And then you have consciousness. These are the main two things, what we call ourself. Body and a consciousness. Okay? So these sufferings are happening in this body and consciousness. Alright? Sadness is felt because we are conscious. If we are unconscious, we are not experiencing anything like that. But we are not aware also. But in all types of awareness, consciousness, we are experiencing this sadness and all other pleasure also, when it's changing, and then we feel upset with that too. So all that is because we are conscious. Alright? So Buddha, in short, then he says all this suffering of old age, death, and all that is in these five aggregates: body, feeling, perception, and reaction, and consciousness. So I will tell you in short what this is. Like we have the ear. Now actually consciousness in the modern medical science and all that is still not understood well. In the modern this thing, they still think that is something, is just part of some neurons still. They are still researching. But in the ancient Eastern philosophies, is well known. Consciousness is something separate from the body. Body is used as a, as a thing, but consciousness is separate. It's not the body is, without a body you can't get consciousness also. Something like this. So when you have, how it's explained, it's like you have the ear and the object. Then say it's not at all, nothing happening immediately. Say somebody hit you, you're unconscious. Okay? Slowly you're becoming conscious. How do you know you're becoming conscious? You begin to see. Okay? What see means, say you begin to hear. Say the sound wave and the ear is the material part. It is there. With these two as a condition, there's something, it says something happened. That is the initial consciousness. Okay? And there's a sensation goes. And that sensation is the feeling, one of the factors of consciousness. Okay? And the feeling is measured like as pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. That measuring is called perception. And when it is perceived as pleasant, there's something that reacts with greed. And if it's unpleasant, if it perceives as unpleasant, it reacts with hate, aversion. And if it's neutral, it reacts with delusion. This reaction is called karma. We are creating new karma. So now if somebody hit me, and then I recognize, perceive, and then I react. If I only think, it becomes mind karma. If I tell, go away from my mouth, then it will be word karma. And if I hit the person, that will be body karma. Okay? So these three ways of karma is done. That's how the karma is done, based on how we react. This reaction is called sankhara. So they are all mental factors of consciousness, a moment of consciousness. Always it's happening with your eyes now. Now maybe you might be having mixed feelings. One is too late, I'm tired, okay? And that is a bit aversion. Oh, it's nice, I must hear this. Okay, that is, so now also you're making karma. Alright? So with your ears, eyes is always happening. But for each consciousness, you need the ear and the object. Eye and the object. Nose and the object. That's how the Buddha explains. Each organ and corresponding the stimulation Now, for example, sound, if it strikes your nose, nothing happens. Okay? You can't see from your ears, you can't smell from your eyes. Each organ has its own domain. And so this is how you must understand, consciousness. Just I will cover some points. Okay? The main message I want to give on this trip is regarding certain things that happened to me from last year. Actually, I came on this tour in 2017. That was just before that, as I became a monk, I had invitations from America. And that time I told them, when I am an arahant, I will come. So arahant means a completely perfected being, then I will come to your country or any country. I thought until then, what can I give anybody? What I meant by perfecting myself is that I would become perfectly pure without any anger, greed, or ego or delusion, according to my idea. So anyway, I kept on practicing as a young monk, not with an idea of attaining it like that, but I enjoy the practice. But maybe while I'm practicing, it might happen anytime. But anyway, nothing like that specifically happened. Of course, I improved. But 2015, I faced a near-death experience in Kailash, Mansarovar, in Himalayas, with altitude sickness. And with that experience, at that time, we have a practice when we are about to face death, a certain practice, a way of observing ourselves. This practice we have been trained daily for many years. So that practice, before I was able to focus that, suddenly a thought came, I couldn't give enough to the people. And this regret came. I thought, oh, can't help it. Next life I will give. What can I do? Now I can't do anything. And then, of course, I kept on doing the practice which I was going to do to face this. Anyway, it's a long story. I managed to escape that particular time. It was 2017. Not only that, some other things also happened in 2015, but 2017, I accept the first invitation to Australia, and like that, I started. Okay. And then after 2017, 18, it stopped again. I kept on practicing, going to Himalayas, to Sri Lanka, jungles. Both these places I was keep practicing. And each year I thought maybe next year I will, I didn't get the calling. Either I had to become fully enlightened, or I had to get a calling from nature, or some kind of, a divine signal for me to come like this. So nothing happened until last year. A very interesting thing happened. Maybe this trip, even the last program I want to show something, but just pass by. Maybe this, because you must get a bonus because you all missed a little time. So anyway, in this last year, what happened was, I want to tell, the reason I tell some of the stories initially is to give you an idea with the life experience. Like nothing comes easily, you have to go through a lot of difficulties, then only good things come. But good things do come. You have to have some patience. When there are more problems, more difficulties, more good things are going to come very soon. So this is something you have to practically experience. If you are good also, if you have good intentions. So in last year, the beginning part, I was in Rishikesh. I don't know, you don't know, the foothills of Himalayas. When I was practicing, I got a severe pain, which I have been getting time to time. To see, I have been having stones, kidney stones. So I had to go through an operation, and it's not easy. The way I live here, only I'm having all the facilities. In fact, it's not by my choice. By my choice, I would be like that. Like I don't have people attending to me and all that around me. I keep my attendance far away, even in Sri Lanka and everywhere when I have my own choice. So there also, suddenly I got this, and India is a lot of population. If you want to die, it's a good place to visit is the hospital because you find they can't meet the demand that they have normally. So much patients, so much population, and difficult to supply the. So anyway, when there was this particular doctor, a professor who came and he made in the Ames hospital. It's like a super specialty hospital. It's like free, but some things you have to buy from outside. There I went through the operation. And we need blood and everything. There were two people to give blood. Everything was there just at that time. I couldn't, and I could see that how some kind of divine intervention, because though I'm alone, there's this, when I needed, there are all these people coming together. And then I went through this operation. It was not a good experience. And but after that, I was in Delhi and I was bitten by a dog. So one after the other, and they're also not easy. My assistants, they were far away, but there was others who came and looked after me. In India, when something like this happened, it's not easy. You go to hospital, there are so much crowd, so much. It's not easy. So after that, it's difficult for me now. My English, I can't flow. Now it has become like the Sinhalese. So anyway, I will come to some important points. So after that, after the this dog bite, I went to Kailash, and this time in Lhasa, capital of Tibet, I had people to attend to me. Actually, there I had Chinese devotees. More than before, I had a lot of support in that way, and they were all there. But in Lhasa, I felt terribly weak. So I passed 1 day, 2 days, 3 days thinking I'll be okay. And we are now, going beyond our normal routine schedule. So what happened? We were waiting. I would think I'll recover, but I was not recovering. To see, I had lost a lot of blood during the operation. And after 2 months, it's too short a time, I should have at least 6 months, 1 year, and the doctor also didn't think I will go on such a journey. He said I can do normal things, but he didn't know that I'll be going to Kailash and all that. So anyway, I was feeling very weak. And then there's another option we did, like there's a flight from Lhasa to near Kailash, like 3 hour drive to Kailash. But that one problem is suddenly you're going to higher elevation. And then you are facing the risk of high altitude sickness. But your body is not exerted. So anyway, I went there. We went like that. And the others, the guides, they came by vehicle with oxygen and all that. First time I used oxygen all the way. Not that I was not well, but they were telling me, better you take it. After you are not well, you take this, you're going to struggle. So anyway, I did that. After this trip, things started to happen. Good things started to happen. Okay, I'm just telling you mainly for this reason. Good things means one of my assistants, they told me to visit, told me there was some special yogi. I hope you know the term yogi. Yogi means like a person who does meditation in India. Not this kind of gymnastic yogi, like hatha yoga. This is yogi means who have developed meditation, concentration power, especially. And he's becoming very popular in India. And my assistant, an Indian assistant, old assistant, he's in Buddha Gaya. He told me, Swami, if you go there, it will be good. So I said, I've been to all these places. I'm not very interested. So, but when he told me the place, there's a very special mountain there with some special energy. I felt attracted to go there. So anyway, I went there. This person is very famous, like lakhs of people are coming. India, what he does is like there are a lot of people coming to find solutions for problems. And what he does is he calls from the crowd certain people, and sometimes he may call by name, and or he will tell the telephone number to call, and then they will get the ring, and like this he does. So it's a little bit, like not magic, but so what he does is when he come to him, but he makes them sit down, and then he writes. He writes his scriptures, and then he asks, "What's your problem?" So they say they have some problem, family problem, or the health problem, something, and then he has written all that in detail, and also some solution. So, so he's like very popular. And he's also very, very charismatic and very this thing, giving a lot of inspiration. And for the modern time in India also, they have lost faith in the monks and all that. Everywhere they feel like monks. They don't feel there could be any power, any strength in them. Even the younger people mostly, they hardly, I notice in Melbourne, not the younger ones, they are forced by their family to come. But when you get like 15, 16, 17, 18, they have no this thing. Yeah, I can understand. But one thing, without investigating, without even searching, like they have got a prejudice immediately, like not to follow it at all, not to believe any God or believe any, what is this, okay, tradition, all right, I also don't want to believe like that. But at least you must try out something and then come to a conclusion. Without that, from far away, just to make a conclusion, that's not the right way to search for truth. So anyway, then I went to this place. Anyway, it was inspiring. There's like no facilities there. A lot of people are there. He was not there, but the mountain I went, and I had some good energy from there. I went again. When my second trip, there's a flight from Delhi to that place. Okay, I not tell the place. All right. So Delhi to that place, the flight. He was also there. He was also going after a long trip somewhere like this. He has been going for many places, programs, and then he was returning home. So when we got down the airport, when he was coming out, he got into the vehicle. He has a lot of security and all that because all the people, they just try to get to him. And as he got in, he saw me from far and he called me. I went and he asked me, "Are you going to that place?" Okay, I said, "Yes, I'm going there." And then he said to his people there, "Please bring this, Swamiji." And so I followed there. I had already a vehicle arranged before, and I got in and we went to his home, mother's home, because after the tours he was going to visit his mom. And then inside there were a lot of crowd there also. It's about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. The village area, all they have got to know, and then they're all there. But the security there, and he went in, then they called me to see there are few people seated and like a throne, and he went inside, then he came. He talked to them. I think he knew all those people. One foreigner and all these different people were there. After that, he looked at me and said, "I want a minute with you." And he sent all of them away, and he kept one person to translate in English. Then what happened? He did the same thing to me. Not right. He told everything but my intentions, something on this path and all that. And later on, I met him several times. Anytime I go, I happen to meet him. It's such a funny thing because I have no phone and things like that, to connect or communicate or to keep in contact with his aides. But we met. And he told the reason why we are meeting like that. We both have been brother yogis in the previous life, doing the same practices and the same power, same energies. We both have practiced. And that's the reason that we are, that we are so connected. And later on, he gave me some things, some tools to do. He shared some information. And one day he came in the night telling, "Not enough, not enough." I was wondering what he was meaning by not enough. Later he explained my practice. Then he said, "We expect that you can do more of the practice. You have this thing," and he encouraged me, but he didn't tell me what. So I went to Sri Lanka, I was in India, did more practice, more than what I normally do, and came back. And then from like that time, like a lot of crowd, and he was like far away, and I asked, he was there, he asked, when did I come? I said, I came a few hours ago. And then he looked at me and I asked him quickly, how is my practice? Then he said, like mirror, mirror on the wall, something like this. It's the only way for me also to know. Then he looked and said like this, what this means. Medium like, okay? Not good, not bad. But he said, I will explain to you. So later, he went to, when he was in his room, about 2 o'clock in the night. It's not easy meeting him, if you look at this place there. But around 2 o'clock, he called me and we were inside. There he explained to me, you're doing your samadhi practice, they're all okay. But there's this meditation, who am I? To question who am I? This is actually in southern India, Ramana Maharishi, this is one tradition, where to get self-realization, there's an inquiry method called who am I? So this, he told me, you have to do this practice and know me meditation. There's another way. So this is the closest he could explain the anatta, no self with the Buddha teachers. So I knew he was trying to tell this because this is what I have practiced, what I have known. He said, you have to practice this. This is the highest meditation. And when you practice this, we'll have to search for you. And he encouraged me like that. And what else he said? Yeah. So like this, and he said means like there was a book with me. I should take this book all over for many years. It is called. They said when you read that book, everything will become clear. Your vision will become clear, and everything will become clear. So what was that book? Actually, I had this book, Samyutta Nikaya. This book, which most of the discourses which are connected with enlightenment, which is regarding the illusion of a self told by the Buddha. So these suttas, as a young boy, I was very absorbed in that. And I have my own experiences. But as I become a monk, what happened? I had to live a very hard life, a very ascetic life. And not by, I was not forced to live like that. It was by choice because we want to practice in an ascetic way. So my teacher lived that life for all his life. So anyway, I was also attracted to that. So we used to walk a lot, and the sun, the rain, all that, the elements we were exposed to. So we used to get sometimes wet by the rain and then dried by the sun while walking, miles and miles. So I don't know, I have gone through also the LTT area, those days the terrorist area. It's another story, but this time I can't explain all those things, what happened, like as a wandering monk. So I had to leave. So what I used that time was concentration power, the samadhi. So it is like anesthesia, you don't feel the heat, the cold, and thirst, the hunger. So this practice I got more inclined to. Of course, analyzing, contemplation, reflection, these things also I did, but not as much as I did when I was young. So I used to go into that peaceful feeling, peaceful state of mind, rather than analyzing, reflection and all that. And reading, that slowed down, that became reduced. So it went on for many years. Even in Himalayas, I read few pages, the suttas, and then I don't read anymore. I go to samadhi, concentration, or the meditation in that way. So it went on like that. But I used to tell the people to read this sutta, to read this discourse of the Buddha, because I knew this is the key. I have already the experience of that. And so what happened? After he told me this, I went to, again, in southern India, not southern India, Sri Lanka, the forest where I practiced before. And I started to practice again. This time, not reading, not going to samadhi or concentration meditation, start reading. And not like when I was young, but fast. I kept on reading. Some of the sections which I know exactly, those sections I started reading. And then, when I met again, 80%, this says, what is inside, the level inside, not like this, 80%. So again, I was so encouraged then I knew, there's something, because this is connected with the wisdom eye. Wisdom is something, wisdom meditation is the most powerful meditation. It can break your karma, it can clear your karma. Because we are concerned about our karma, the destiny. I don't know how many of you believe in that. It's not easy. I suggest some of this literature called Edgar Cayce, Many Mansions, where he used to go into unconscious state, and he was called the Miracle Man of Virginia. It's very interesting, how he used to relate to some of the problems we are facing now, to some things we did in the previous lives. And, it's very nice. They're called case studies. So these are like very interesting. So how? We normally do it with anger and greed. Okay, these are the main two things. With anger and greed, when we react, we create sin or karma. And that karma, is the one that some things we are going through, some hardships, difficulties, pain, we can relate to the actions, thoughts, words we did in the previous lives. That's how it comes, how it makes this life. And that's what we call samsara. Okay, so I would suggest, maybe you can just read these books called Edgar Cayce, Many Mansions, to give that idea. Maybe something about karma, I have something in my bag. I might show to you. Last program I was planning, but suddenly maybe they don't need that. Okay, this I did for actually some cancer patients. A child, for her not to worry that you have a destined time to die, or there is that destiny, that not to worry like that. I had to show these things so that that person will come to peace and not unnecessary anxiety. So anyway, so then I started to read again in another forest, complete this, and when I came back, 120%. Then only I started these retreats in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, I accepted this monastery because I need people to stay and train them and open up the way to ordination, so that first to ordain their mind. That's what the main purpose, so that they go through this training, what they should be doing, what they should be thinking, how to practice. So this is how it started in Sri Lanka last October. And it's not that I accepted the monastery. On my behalf, the trust is doing everything. I have made a trust. I want to be a wandering monk still. So, but as a duty to the people, I had to do that. But I made sure that I don't own the monastery and nobody owns it also.